Chapter 2 begins with a man standing in the boxing arena. By the look of things, he is about starting his first round. He looked huge, with really big lats and well built. The man in question is Atlas, an American boxer. Judging by the look on his face, he seems uninterested by what is about to begin, and was even lost in thought. He exclaimed to himself, "I'm tired of it. I've grown tired of the belt." And right before he could finish airing his thought, the first round began. The referee had given a start to the fight. It was a caged fight with a lot of spectators, and the crowd kept yelling, "Champion! Champion! Champion!" Both men in the ring stood apart from the center circle, and the opponent here took a fighting stance while Atlas remained guardless and stanceless. The opponent, whose name here wasn't disclosed, remained a bit worried and quite invested. Atlas, not bothered by his opponent's whereabouts, kept thinking to himself, "It's been 7 years since I first sat on the king's seat. I've won just too much." At the same time, both the referee and his opponent couldn't stop from noticing he was lost in thought. The referee shouted at him, trying to bring his attention to the fight about to begin. The crowd was speechless, and feeling disrespected, his opponent started moving, charging at him. The crowd suddenly became alive at the sight of this movement, and that was enough to get Atlas's attention. The last thought that went through his mind were, "I've had enough." And while thinking simultaneously, he jabbed his opponent at the speed of light, with the thought, "This sport, I've had enough." He wanted a challenge, something new, something that could scare him. His opponent simply fainted, and as short as the blink of an eye, the fight was over. He followed his previous hit with a jaw-breaking suplex, fracturing his opponent's jaw in the process. With determination and the burning fire in his eyes, he thought, "I want to be the strongest." And as if that wasn't enough, he was about dealing more damage to his opponent, and the referee had to step in, stopping the fight. There was a total silence, followed by photographers and the media getting close to our champion, flooding him with questions. To a question about where his next challenge would be, he answered, "Japan," explaining his reasoning by saying, "There is someone in that country that everyone would accept as the strongest." A while has passed, and Atlas decided to visit Tokugawa. The latter seemed quite surprised by the visit, and they continued their conversation. "Just why do you want to fight? You've already gained admiration around the globe," he says. Atlas replies, "I've seen that father's child fight." "I see," acknowledged Tokugawa, with a grim smile on his face. "Just what did you think seeing that?" Atlas responds by saying, "It is the first time I've seen the human body move with such beauty. So, do you want to fight him?" he asked, all excited. Atlas, with a bit of hesitation, says, "That young boy, Hanma Baki, you are his promoter." Before he could finish uttering, Mr. Tokugawa questioned him once again. "Against Hanma Baki, can you win?" "I've crossed the Pacific Ocean to verify that," he replied. As a word of caution, Tokugawa tells him, the fight isn't protected by any rule, letting him know anything goes in the arena as long as one wins. Atlas, with a smile and full of confidence, replied, "I've always wanted to try this." The discussion kept on, and Tokugawa, wanting to understand the reason behind Atlas's decision to fight Hanma Baki, says, "You earn about 4 million a night, right?" "Yes," Atlas answered. "Your fight do not yield any money, but I can earn the title of the strongest in the world," he continued. Tokugawa, convinced Atlas had the right mentality, says to him, "That young boy, he is very strong." And as if insulted, Atlas replies, "So am I," with a voracious look on his face. Tokugawa exhales and asks, "How is your physical condition?" To that, "I'm ready to fight even tonight," he responded. "Tonight it is," answered Tokugawa. Atlas seemed concerned at the answer, and asked he didn't expect it to be so soon, and that promptly decided. Tokugawa confirmed again, "The fight is tonight." "But does Hanma Baki even know of this? Right here and now?" Not satisfied, asked Tokugawa. No, he added. "I'm not dissatisfied. Atlas, he's a student. He has time to his hand. He can spare some time for a match. It is fine," Tokugawa reassured. "He won't refuse," he continued. "It's because he doesn't care about this. He is the strongest. Anytime, any place, with anyone." It's evening, and the match is about to start. Atlas is seen jumping still to keep himself all warmed up and fully focused. The crowd is all excited, and Atlas remembered the discussion that occurred a little earlier. He remembered Tokugawa calling Baki and the leader instantaneously accepted the fight proposal just as Tokugawa predicted. Soon, he will appear from that opening, the one called the strongest, he thought, looking into the distance ahead of him. There comes Baki, almost unhinged, stretching and being unbothered by the crowd around him. At the sight of Baki, Atlas thought, he is that small? Full of interjection. His weight is about 154 pounds. His height is about 5.5 feet. He is almost half my size. However, at the same time as Baki finally glanced at him, he couldn't stop himself but realized how negligible he looked in front of him. A mysterious monster suddenly appeared before him, and it looked like something he has never seen before. From here on, he would tell the story as follows. Is that the exact same face I saw on TV? But it has to be. This child is Hanma Baki? He looks like a featherweight, or even below that. Isn't he about half my size? He is so small. So many questions running through his mind. He continued. Now, I get it. All of those scars on his body are proof of his experience. They are actually all over his entire body, here and there. They show his history as a fighter. As to intimidate him, Baki suddenly released a bit of an aura, and Atlas was back immediately from all his questions, looking at the beast he never saw before. The beast looked so huge, as if even bigger than the crowd behind it, compared to which dear Atlas was so little. Despite all his experience, he still couldn't understand what was happening. Both men stood in the middle of the arena. Looking again at Baki, he thought, at first glance, this boy looks like he could be a girl. Did that monstrous image really come from him? He was so lost in thought, once again, this time of complete amazement, that he heard none of the precautions or guidance being given by the referee. Do you understand, Mr. Atlas? Questioned the referee, to which he answered, yeah, hesitantly. Then just to make sure, I will repeat myself. The referee then proceeded with explaining the rule of this fight. You may use every part of your body. Other than that, the use of weapon is forbidden. Both men walked to their various corners just as it is tradition in this underground arena. And Mr. Atlas, having heard the rule, felt a bit of joy running through him. He thought to himself, you can do whatever you want, as long as you don't use weapon. How simple, referring to Baki in his mind. The crowd was excited, hailing Mr. Atlas's name. It was uproarious. Atlas felt a warm welcome and at the same time understood they only saw him as the underdog in this arena. Clearly, the crowd was looking for a change in the victor in this fight. They see me as some sort of weakling, as if not 7 times heavier than him, he thought with a malicious smile on his face. Do they have that much faith in him? Baki is half my size. Even monsters like Manny Baki, who have power and speed exceeding their frame, don't go out and fight heavyweight. Convincingly, he says to himself, there are some rules myth can overcome, and that is weight classes. The bell was slammed, and that hinted the beginning of the battle. Baki Hanma, what kind of magic will you use? Against me? What is it that you can do? Taking his first step, he thinks, this is really fun. The scene then proceeded to Atlas relaxing on the poolside of a villa. There is no denying it, he says. It was a complete and utter defeat. It was only a few seconds, but inside that small time frame, everything became clear. It was understood in one glance that compared to me, his expression, his way of walking, Baki Hanma was clearly bored. We didn't see the rest of the fight as Atlas decided to go with a feint. I would kick the ground to set my body in motion so that I can deliver a high kick. But this would be nothing more than a feint, he thought. Next would be my right straight that always connect. To the realization of that, Baki dodged, and immediately after that, Atlas was caught. The power he had wasn't that of a human. With my own grip strength of about 130 kilos, I couldn't get him off, and after that he shook me. And that was all that I could remember. Why? My brain was clashing against my skull again and again. At the speed that shut everything down, it was truly a complete defeat. No need for any kind of deliberation. It was what I saw after the fight was done. He really is a nice guy. He was doing his best against a guy who was as weak as me. He was fighting to keep his yawn from coming out. This is the end of the fight, and see you for next chapters. As always, I would appreciate if you leave a comment below about your impression on this fight. Also, you can show me some love by destroying the like button and sharing the video with friends and family. And as always, see you for more.